Hi. 4 o'clock in the afternoon. How y'all doing? You know, it's really, I work at ING, and I'm a member of the Gay and Lesbian Network at ING. And I remember the first LGBT conference that we had actually here in ING House, and it was, what, maybe 5 years ago? And it's so incredible to now be here with a conference with women and around the topics of lesbian, bisexual, and transgender women. So this is just really awesome. I'm really grateful that we're able to be here today. So that's really terrific. I have had this sense this year, and this experience myself, that we are the ones that the world is waiting for. You, really, you and I, women, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, and that we really have something to contribute that's really unique. And that's exactly the right moment in history and the right moment in time for us to speak up and have our voices be heard and to really powerfully ask for what we want and to express our visions and our dreams. And it really starts with saying what our dreams are, and that's really what we're doing here today. So that's really great. I want to start by just telling you a little bit about myself and how I got here. I was born in the United States, in San Francisco, which is a really great place to be from. It's where my family lives. And I moved to the Netherlands 12 years ago, and I moved to the Netherlands for love, which is like probably one of the greatest reasons to move anywhere, right? But I also moved to the Netherlands because of the Defense of Marriage Act. My wife, Lynn, is an Australian citizen, and we've been married now for over 10 years, and our marriage isn't recognized in the United States. So we were friends for 16 years, like, you know, happens sometimes, and then like out of the blue fell in love. So I was living in San Francisco, she was living here, we traveled back and forth for a while, and then it was like, okay, what are we gonna do? And I knew that I could come to the Netherlands, right? And I knew that like some very magical stuff was gonna happen, and it was very unclear how she was gonna get to the United States. So I quit my job. You know, I went into my boss and I said, listen, love being here. I mean, I had a great career, great job and everything. I said, listen, I'm moving to Europe. And he said, oh, no, don't do it, don't stay here. And I said, well, listen, my partner is Australian. I can't bring her into the country. And he said, oh, okay. And, you know, he just got it, right? And, you know, that's kind of like where it ended for me. Like I said that. And then I kept saying, like, you know, I was moving to Europe, like, you know, I'm going on this adventure, and I was, you know, it was really, really great. But there's a part of that, you know, that I never, like, expressed, like it's not okay that I don't have the choice to be around my 83-year-old mother, my 7 nieces and nephews who are all growing up, that I have to, like, give up this career and make some kind of a weird left turn and figure out what to do next, like that, you know, that we don't all have the same rights, like, really isn't okay. You know, and when I came to the Netherlands, I really felt like, you know, life's going to be great. You know, I found a new job. I was with the woman that I totally loved. You know, we had a house. You know, I know my way around the Netherlands. I actually already spoke Dutch because I'd lived here before. So I had this feeling like I was going to arrive here. You know, you kind of expect there's a point in life where everything's just going to be really, really good. You know, and it was. But there was a part of me that just like, you know, I was just kind of, you know, not right. There was just something not right. You know, like when something kind of itches and you just can't, you know, get it. You know, I was, you know, everything like was in place, but I was really just kind of irritable and grumpy and, you know, whatever. I actually probably wasn't very nice to be around. And I had no idea what that was. It was kind of like this, you know, blind spot or something that I just couldn't get at for a while. And you know, I loved being here, and Lynn and I got married, and, you know, things were really, really great. At a certain point, I had a project in a course I was doing, and the project was to look at your life and find a place in your life where you lack either power or freedom or full self-expression, and make something out of that, right? So look at something that you actually don't want to look at and then create something out of it. So I first started to think, well, you know, it's kind of hard to be a foreigner in the Netherlands. So I started like thinking, you know, what could I do about that? And, you know, I came up with something that was totally uninspiring because like I was trying to fix something, right? And then I looked again and I thought, oh, wow, you know, where I'm really not powerful and where I really like don't say anything is around the fact that I don't have a right to live in my own country. And, you know, and it moves me right now to say that, and it really moved me at the time because I thought, that's the thing. That's the itch, you know, that I really have to keep scratching and that I keep, like, you know, pushing away and not talking about, which is that I have a really, really great life, and I can acknowledge that as much as I can, but if I try to avoid looking at this one aspect that doesn't work, and I keep trying to like hide from it. I'm not expressing myself fully. I'm not really fully free, and I can't really be in my power. So that was really, an eye-opener for me. And the project I created out of that was an initiative called Love Exiles. Because the same time that I got that I wasn't free in expressing myself, I also got that the most amazing community that anybody could ever be part of is people who've traveled halfway across the world to be with the person they love. And I was really surrounded in the Netherlands by a lot of Americans who'd had that experience of leaving behind, whatever life they had in their communities and their families and so forth, and coming here to be with somebody and integrating into a completely new culture. And these were just the most amazing people that I could, ever be with in my life. And so, that was really, I guess, a kind of a sea change moment in my life. Like, I can choose to be disempowered, or I can do something, right? Like, I didn't know what to do. Like, there's law in the United States called the Defense of Marriage Act, and it says that my relationship isn't recognized. And, I don't know what button to push to change that, and I don't know, like, how that's going to go, right? I have no idea, and I don't know about you, but when I don't know what to do, it's not the nicest feeling, I'd like to know what button to push. But it became a kind of a journey of, okay, well, given that I don't know what to do, like what kind of actions could I take and what kind of opportunities are there? So that became, a way to bring community together and to advocate and to find other people and to connect. And it was about 10 years ago, sort of at the beginning of social media, so we started using a lot of social media and immediately had really a global network of people who were speaking out around an issue. And so it was really, for me, I really, like, a light bulb went on like, oh, find opportunities. Like, even a place where you're not free and disempowered, there's an opportunity there. And that's, I guess, kind of my invitation to all of you, is to have a look and see what your opportunities are. An experience I had this year was I had the honor of being a delegate at the Democratic National Convention in Charlotte, North Carolina, where for Barack Obama, and where I was there when he accepted the nomination to be the candidate for president. And how did that happen? I'm part of an organization called Democrats Abroad, and we mobilize Americans around the world to vote. And, we have a delegation that goes to this convention, right? And it's a kind of a cool thing to do. And a friend of mine had done that 4 years ago. So he, like me, is a love exile. And people said to him, wow, we want your issue at the convention. You're really new in this organization. Normally, we wouldn't think it's really your time or your opportunity to step up and be a delegate, but we want you there, right? So, I heard that, 4 years ago, that he had that opportunity, and there was this form I could fill in, and I said, well, what could I do? I can, watch life go by. I can sit on the couch and comment and criticize and whatever, or I can, put myself in the game. Like, I can say, yeah, I'd like to do that. So I put an application in, and I really kind of looked into my heart and said, well, what's this about for me? Well, this is about, that we can live in a world where we're all one, right? Where it doesn't matter who we are, lesbian, gay, straight, transgender, male, female, it doesn't matter. We all are human beings and we all have the same needs. That's the thing that really inspires me. So I happen to be a lesbian, and I happen to be a woman, but I'm a lot of other things too. So I put that out there, and about 105 other people put this application in, and we had like a big global vote, like a primary, right? And 7 people got chosen out of Europe, and I was one of the people chosen, right? And I'm like, how did that happen, And it's like, show up, It's like you can watch things, I was kind of like, well, maybe I'll do that next year, or, gee, I think I'll wait till the night before the application's due. I had kind of all this noise going on in my head, but it's like, if you want something to happen in the world, you got to kind of step up. And another reason that I really stepped up was we had an affirmative action policy. So half of our delegates were going to be women and half were going to be men, and 10% were going to be LGBT. And that to me meant that we were going to have 50% straight women, 40% straight men, and 10% gay men. Because what happens, or maybe 9% gay men. Because lesbian women don't stand up. It was just what was being talked about here. And you guys do, and there are people that do. And I don't know, like, the question about Denmark, why aren't there any, lawyers and celebrities and whatever? Who knows? But, we don't always step up, And I think that that's, maybe something that we could train ourselves in or support each other in. It's really great to come to this conference every year, but I think one of my questions is, what happens when we walk out of here today, and how do we make sure that there's twice as many of us next time we have an opportunity to meet together? I don't know if there'll be a conference next year, but how do we make sure that we as lesbian, bisexual, and transgender women actually show up in the world, right? How do we do that? And I don't know the answer to it, but I think that's that's the challenge. That's the challenge today, and to find those opportunities, right? I'm on the board of the Gay and Lesbian Association at ING, and it's me and 4 guys, right? Opportunity. Where's another lesbian who's going to stand up with me and do that? The opportunities are really there for us. And so I don't know how that shows up in your world. And, I actually kind of want to challenge you and say, where are you showing up in your life, in your community, in the town you live in your company or whatever. But have a conversation about it. I think the opportunity today is to really, don't let that lack of freedom and power and self-expression stop you, but really, share your dream and let somebody else know what it is and listen to their dreams and see how we can find those opportunities together and just grab them. Because you know what, it's a lot more fun being on the playing field than it is, sitting up in the bleachers watching the game and saying, they should have done that and they should have done that. It's really, it makes a difference when you play. Thank you.
Thank you, Martha. Thank you very much.